The man who learned to stand. Elliot was the kind of man who never raised his voice. He was gentle, kind, and always willing to lend a hand, even to those who didn't deserve it. But his kindness came at a cost. People took advantage of him. Bullies at work, rude neighbors, even strangers on the street. They'd belittle him, push him around, and he just let it slide. It's not worth the trouble, he'd tell himself, brushing off every insult, every slight. Then came Marcus. Marcus was the opposite of Elliot, loud, brash, and fiercely protective. They met at a coffee shop when a customer tried to cut in front of Elliot in line. Marcus stepped in, his voice booming. "Hey, buddy, the line starts back there. Show some respect." Elliot was stunned. No one had ever stood up for him like that before. From that day on, Marcus became Elliot's best friend and his defender. Whenever someone tried to mess with Elliot, Marcus was there ready to fight his battles. "You don't have to take crap from anyone," Marcus would say. "You're worth more than that." Slowly, Elliot began to believe it. With Marcus by his side, he started to stand a little taller, speak a little louder. For the first time in his life, Elliot felt like he mattered. But everything changed one rainy evening. They were walking home when a familiar face appeared. A bully from Elliot's past, drunk and looking for trouble. "Well, well, if it isn't the punching bag and his guard dog," the man sneered, shoving Elliot. Marcus stepped forward, his fists clenched. "Back off," he growled. The bully swung, and the fight began. Elliot tried to help, but he froze, his old fears creeping back in. The scuffle turned violent, and in the chaos, the bully pulled out a knife. Marcus shoved Elliot out of the way, taking the blow meant for him. Elliot watched in horror as his best friend collapsed to the ground, blood pooling beneath him. Marcus didn't make it. The days that followed were a blur of grief and guilt. Elliot fell into a deep depression, haunted by the memory of Marcus's sacrifice. He replayed every moment they'd shared, every time Marcus had stood up for him, every lesson Marcus had tried to teach him. "You don't have to take crap from anyone," Marcus's voice echoed in his mind. One day, Elliot woke up with a fire burning in his chest. He couldn't let Marcus's death be in vain. He started training. Martial arts, self-defense, anything to make himself stronger. He practiced speaking up, setting boundaries, refusing to let anyone walk over him. It was hard, and there were days he wanted to give up, but he kept going. For Marcus. Months later, Elliot found himself face to face with another bully. This time, he didn't freeze. He stood tall, his voice steady. "I'm not the man I used to be," he said, "and I'm not afraid of you." The bully hesitated, then backed down. As Elliot walked away, he felt a strange sense of peace. He knew Marcus would be proud. For the first time, he didn't need someone to fight for him. He had learned to stand on his own. And though Marcus was gone, his legacy lived on in the man Elliot had become.